The podcast you are about to listen to contains at least one of the following: strong language, disturbing topics, abusive opinions, generally things that aren't appropriate for little kids or overly sensitive people. So, if any of that stuff's going to get your nose out of joint, this is your chance to turn it off.
Feelings don't matter, so brace yourself tight. He'll lay it down heavy, he'll light up the night. No sugar-coated tales, just cold hard facts. In the realm of opinions, there's no turning back. Listen closer, just walk away. But Aaron had to say it, come what may. Here comes Aaron with the truth untold. No holding back, watch the truth unfold. On the podcast, airways feel the righteous sting. You either take it in or let the silence ring.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of I Had to Say It. So we're going to start as we do by saying to Iceman, Jason, Mike, Tabby, Javier, Fitz, McShane, El Jefe, El Devlin, El Morte, to the guys at the Weather Report, to Billy G, to Walt from the Be Raw Podcast, to Kate, the Duchess of New Jersey. Thank you so much for your constant support. It means the world to me. It really does. It's a lovely thing knowing there's people out there that want to show me that little bit of love and try and just say they like what I'm doing and support what I'm doing. So it really is. It's not about the money. It's about the sentiment behind it. And thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. So anyway, it's Memorial Day weekend this weekend, and unlike a lot of people, I don't do the Happy Memorial Day. There's really nothing happy about it. It's not a day for celebration. It's a day for remembrance and honoring the American soldiers who have given their lives in the service of the country. And yeah, that's all well and good to have your day off and spend extra time with your family or have the barbecues and the cookouts. It's the start of the nice weather here in the Midwest. It's the unofficial kickoff for summer a lot of places in a lot of ways and a lot of shapes. But at the end of the day, that's not what it's about. And a lot of people forget the message. They forget the point behind it. It's the time to remember the people that aren't here having that cookout, having beers and steaks and burgers and whatever the case may be. So, yeah, in observance, the people who served this country and gave up their lives in the service of this country, they're, better people than me for the most part. There's always going to be a couple shitbags in every line of work and everything. There's always exceptions to the rule, but, I didn't take the oath. I didn't stand up and serve when I could have because I was an arrogant shithead of a teenager, and nobody could tell me nothing. And I honestly, I probably could have used some enlistment discipline, but I was too arrogant to fucking do it at the time. And in hindsight, it's one of those things I'll always regret it, but at the same time, I can't do it over. So, but yeah, I will always honor and respect the people who did serve, and I'm going to put a little asterisk on that one. The ones who actually served. To actually be in the service. I've seen a lot of videos of recent service members, particularly ones that had enlisted in the last maybe 5 to 6 years, who I don't consider what they did actual service. It was done with selfish reasons. It was never done with any intent of, any kind of service to the country. It was because they wanted something out of it in exchange, whether it was they wanted their health care paid for, or, now granted, a lot of people get into the service for those reasons, to pay for college, to do this, to do that. But I'm not talking about the people who signed up because that's how they wanted to pay for their education, or they signed up because it was either that or get a job or go to college, and college wasn't for them and they didn't feel like getting a job, or whatever the reason is. If you entered the military for whatever reason, whatever branch, and you carried yourself honorably and you did your job and you did the job you were there for, you have all my respect. You have all the respect I can give you. I will honor you. I will respect you. But I'm talking more about these ones, and I've seen them recently, and you see them dancing around in their little TikTok videos, and the drag queen sailors they were trying to use for recruitment in the Navy, and all this woke horse shit, people that want the military to pay for their gender transition surgeries. Basically everybody that Hegseth is kicking out now that he's back to making the military about being a war-fighting machine as opposed to, the DEI, all this horse shit, the people who were never there, the people who literally were posting videos during the Biden administration saying if a war happened, they weren't going to fight, saying they didn't enlist to go to fight for this country. They did not enlist because they believe in this country. They enlisted because they wanted free healthcare, they wanted free college, but they don't actually value the country that's going to give them the opportunities enough to fulfill their oaths should the need arise. Those people can all go take a flying fuck at a rolling donut. Or a flying scissors for the females of that group. And again, if you're a woman and you're in the military and you're serving respectably and doing what you need to do, more power to you. I respect you. I've said it before, I'll say it again. As long as you can meet the same physical standards as the men, you're welcome wherever you are in my book, because I can't do that shit. So I will be plenty impressed as long as you meet the same standards for the same MOS that you want to be involved in. And thank you for your service. And thank you to everyone who's actually served that listens to this. I appreciate you all. I really do. But, yeah, like I said, that's why I don't say Happy Memorial Day. It's not supposed to be a happy day. People are happy because they don't have to go to work. They're happy because they get a long weekend. They get to hang out outside because the weather's nice. And somewhere along the lines, the meaning behind the day gets lost. Again, a day of remembrance, day of honoring the departed. Day of respecting and honoring those who, gave it all in service of the country and the things they believe in. Which brings me to some issues I'm taking with the way, in particular, this Memorial Day weekend has been playing out. Now, since the Memorial Day is always observed on the last Monday of May, it floats around a little bit just due to the calendar doing what the calendar do. And this year, it happens to fall right around the same time as the anniversary of George Floyd dying, which is the first thing that just kind of pissed me off about going into this weekend, was the sheer number of leftist fucking retards and race grifting motherfuckers that come out of the woodwork to make some kind of post or some kind of comment about George Floyd's death. And the number of these deranged leftist fucks that are still out here screaming that he was murdered, that his life was taken. His life was taken by him. The coroner's report is available for literally anyone who wants to look at it. Anytime. It's publicly available. It's public domain. It's public information. The fact that these fucking assholes, these grifting pieces of shit, are still out here trying to scream that he was murdered and trying to make a martyr out of St. Floyd of the fentanyl just fucking disgusts me. The fact that it happens to fall right on the same weekend as Memorial Day disgusts me even fucking more. And now, granted, the right's responses to this have not been any fucking better, in my opinion, because, again, it's one of those situations like, why are we still paying attention to this fucking degenerate scumbag? His family got rich off of the media circus of the left making him into a martyr for overdosing on fentanyl while in police custody and being a general piece of shit. The fact that they're still trying to paint him as like, well, what do you think he'd be doing today if he didn't die, if he wasn't murdered 5 years ago? I think he would either be in prison or dead because he would have overdosed, or he would have committed another felony because he was a fucking career criminal who was also a fucking junkie. These morons trying to paint the picture of like, oh, well, he would have been spending time, he deserved time to spend with his daughter. He wasn't a father when he was alive. Pretending like he would have been out there involved in his daughter's life if he hadn't OD'd on fucking cuffs. Because I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to acknowledge the fact that these people still want to say that Derek Chauvin killed him, because he fucking didn't. The coroner's report shows there were no physical injuries, and he had enough fentanyl in his system to kill a fucking stable worth of horses. The guy died by his own fucking hand. He drowned in his own fucking lungs because he took too much drugs. He was a junkie, criminal, and I'm not going to try and pretend he was anything but. It's really hard for me to be sympathetic. But again, like I said, we have people, and it's not just like random assholes on the street. It's not hood rat motherfuckers who should know better. I mean, now, granted, hood rat motherfuckers who you can't help it that they don't know any better. Yeah, they're still out there saying the same shit too. But it's because they parrot the talking points they're fed by motherfuckers who should fucking know better. When you have politicians and, all the squad motherfuckers and all the worthless sacks of shit that are out there, all the liberal leftist pieces of shit that are, oh, George Floyd was murdered, George Floyd murdered. No, he fucking wasn't. And you saying this shit is just inciting more bullshit, more empty rhetoric, more racial division because they want to try and paint it like he was murdered because he was a black man and a white cop killed him. No, he drowned in his own fucking lungs because he took a shit ton of fucking fentanyl. And that's not even the worst of the fucking ridiculousness coming out of the left on what is supposed to be a weekend to honor Americans' fallen soldiers. Like I said, for some reason, this is just really sticking to my fucking craw. And the right reaction of, I couldn't tell you how many posts I saw of, like, congratulations to George Floyd on 5 years of sobriety and other dumb shit like that. Don't bring him up in conversation. I mean, yeah, you want to say that as a reply to one of these race-baiting bullshit posts. Okay, whatever, I get it. But for fuck's sakes, the people who posted that as their post, like, here's my commentary, I think this is funny. Like, no, why are we still talking about this fucking scumbag? And then, speaking of fucking scumbags, you remember that Kilmar Obrigio, the MS-13 guy that got deported, that the senator flew down to go have margaritas with him because, they had, Maryland man needs to be represented in Durka. Well, it's not over with because there's been another senator that decided to spend Memorial Day weekend flying down there to check up on him again. This time he was denied access to him and basically wasted a bunch of money. I pray to God it's his own money and not taxpayer dollars, but we'll have to wait and find out about that. But yeah, instead of like staying in the United States, going to a ceremony to honor some of his fallen constituents or anything like that, this piece of shit goes down there to check on the MS-13 wife-beating gangbanger. Yeah, utterly fucking ridiculous and just stupid beyond measure. And then the other thing that's really kind of stuck in my craw this week is this one kind of hits close to home to me. I mean, not in any real meaningful way because I don't go to Chicago unless I fucking have to. It used to be a fun place to hang out. It used to be a lot of cool things going on there. There is nothing in that city right now that attracts my attention where it's like, you know what I want to do? I want to go to Chicago today and hang out. No, not at all. I mean, I'll still go catch a Blackhawks game or, whatever if I get free tickets. But I'm not going to, like, voluntarily, willingly go into Chicago just for the shits and gigs of it. I don't, I'm confident in my marksmanship and in the maintenance on my firearm that I will be okay should I need to draw it. Do I want to exercise that option? I'm not going out of my way looking for it. Do I think it might happen if I wind up in Chicago? Yes. That city is a shithole. Crime is rampant. Even though they're trying to report that under Brandon Johnson, the crime rate has actually declined in all categories except for auto theft, which has like quadrupled in his first 2 years at office. But at the end of the day, a lot of that goes down to reporting and the fact that criminals aren't being prosecuted. They're not being arrested. They've hamstrung the cops where they really aren't even allowed to chase criminals most of the time anymore. When you deregulate crime and you make all these crimes basically not worth pursuing, yes, the stats are going to go down. When you're not prosecuting, when you're not pressing charges, when you're not arresting people, when you're not standing up for the victims or the citizens who are actually paying for this shit, then the criminals will be emboldened and shit will get worse. And Chicago has basically become a third world city at this point. It used to be a beautiful place. Now it's what used to be a beautiful fucking place. It's utterly disgusting, the shithole. And that brings me to Brandon Johnson, the utterly retarded, racist, victim mentality. Everything is Whitey's fault. Bullshit, moron, sack of shit. Governor with literally, I believe he actually has the lowest approval rating of any mayor in the entire country. I think I said governor earlier. I'm not going back to look. It's been a long weekend. Yeah. So Brandon Johnson, who last time I checked was standing at a 6.5% approval rating on his job as the mayor of Chicago, who is currently under federal investigation for violating hiring practices by going out in a church and admitting to the pastor on television and on broadcast on the internet that he only hires black people because, and his words, not mine, they're the most generous people out there. When we're in a position, we're going to take care of everyone, which I don't want to sound like I'm being an asshole, but that's not true in the slightest. It's utterly ridiculous. He's not hiring people that are out there because they're generous and they're going to make sure they take care of everyone. He's hiring only black people because he's a racist sack of shit who wants to scream victim mentality and wants to try and act like he's so miserably oppressed. He's an unqualified fucking retard who got bought an election by the CTU because they knew he was a brain-dead fucking puppet. He has given them more money, indebted the city and the taxpayers further to placate the CTU with their contract increases. He is a fucking retard. So you want to know what he had to say about Memorial Day and, dead Illinoisans and dead Chicagoans that died in service of the country as opposed to the dead Chicagoans that are just getting killed on the fucking streets of a shithole? Nothing. Literally zero. Not a fucking mention of the day, the holiday, the troops. Nothing. You want to know what Brandon Johnson did go out and make social media posts and announcements about today, literally on Memorial Day? This retarded, race-baiting sack of shit decided to celebrate Africa Day. And he made a post saying, I'm excited to celebrate Africa Day with you, and listed a bunch of facts about how in Africa there's 1.6 billion people on the continent of Africa. And it went on and on and on Memorial Day, on a day that is an American holiday dedicated to American soldiers who have fallen in the service of this country to guarantee the rights and freedoms of brain-dead sacks of shit like himself to go out and say some of the dumbest fucking shit I have ever heard in my fucking life about a holiday he made up, that he's acting like everybody's going to know exactly what the fuck he's talking about, and completely ignoring the established federal holiday that is the reason everyone has a day off. Nobody has the day off because of fucking Africa Day. It's so fucking infuriating to me that these morons somehow find their way into power. This prick is the definition of failing upward. And yet, he's not out there. I mean, hopefully the federal government throws the fucking book at him and he gets put in the fucking poorhouse. I mean, granted, he'll probably try and pay the fines off with taxpayer dollars, and maybe he'll even see prison time. That would make me fucking happy. I would be happy if he was ruined for the rest of his fucking life. But I am so sick of these just worthless, soulless, valueless sacks of shit succeeding when they have no business. They have no merit. They have no skills other than being an ass-sucking piece of shit. This parasitic fucking retard. Every time he opens his mouth, you can understand how fucking stupid he is. He can't field questions unless they're softballs pitched to him by liberal media fucking shills, because he's a goddamn idiot. And he tries to tout himself as a fucking educator. Meanwhile, the city of Chicago and the CTU have churned out 8th graders where, if you, particularly with the black 8th graders, who he was constantly talking about how, he needs to stand up for black school children and da-da-da-da-da. Black 8th graders are testing 16% of black 8th graders in the city of Chicago can do math at grade level. Less than 20% of black children in the city of Chicago at 8th grade are literate. And this moron thinks he's accomplishing things. He's making up holidays that nobody gives a fuck about things that don't need to be celebrated, and wasting fucking taxpayer dollars making social media posts, because I guarantee he didn't shoot this with his fucking cell phone in his office. He had a team to do it for him, and I guarantee every single one of them was hired because they're black and they're kind and generous. There's not a white person or a fucking Asian or a Latino on his fucking staff. This utterly worthless, depraved sack of leftist trash has taken a day that was supposed to honor people and once again tried to make it about his bullshit retarded narratives, and this dumb motherfucker thinks he did something. And the smugness, you can see in his face, he thinks he's doing something. He thinks he's an elite fucking next level human being. And I just want to squeeze his fucking milk dud shaped head until the fucking eyes pop out of it. I can't stand the fucking guy. Every time he opens his mouth, it infuriates me. My blood pressure goes through the goddamn roof. But, you know, that's just me. It is what it is. It's the world of inequity I live in. It's my just frustration and rage with society in general and the shortcomings and failings that I, for one, you know, I almost welcome our robot overlords that are going to crush humanity under their fucking robotic cogs, you know. And this kind of rolls into, I was kind of having, you know, like ranter's block earlier today when I was trying to get this done at a reasonable hour because it's a day off. I should be able to go to bed at a reasonable hour because I got all fucking day. And after I got done eating, I could have sat down and recorded this episode. And then I just couldn't think of anything to say, oddly enough. I mean, I had a very content weekend. It was a very nice weekend for me. I didn't hardly look at my phone at all. I got some shit done around the house I needed to get done. I spent a lot of time with my kid and his fiance over the weekend. It was really nice. You know, very pleasant weekend for the most part. And, you know, got to hang out with the wife and hang out with the dog and the cat. And I literally had my phone on silent and didn't realize it until Monday morning. You know, granted, nobody calls me, nobody really messages me, but I mean, like, I didn't get any notifications from any of the apps that I'm on because, again, my phone was not on vibrate, but on silent. And so it just kind of went unfucking noticed. I listened to Whiskey Hell on Saturday night like I tend to do, except for the nights where I fall asleep and they make fun of me in the chat for falling asleep mid-show, but I'm old, leave me alone. And, yeah, you know, I had a very, very nice weekend. So I had kind of a ranter's block going on where I was just like, I don't even know what to record in this episode. I'm in a good place. I'm very zen. I'm very chilled out. You know, maybe I'll dive into some social media and see if I can't get myself fucking worked up so I can record something for all you wonderful people to listen to me rant or rave about. But I did actually, I threw a ask into the Whiskey Hell group chat, which you can also be a part of if you sign up for the Whiskey Hell Patreon and, you know, subscribe to that show. You get access to the signal chat on that, which is a good time. We have a lot of fun in there. And I feel like I'm not actually telling you guys anything you don't already know, because I know a lot of my listeners are actually also in that group chat. Or at least a lot of my regular listeners. The new people or the people that randomly found this by accident are just still listening to me because of, you know, the tones of my voice, or they actually like what I have to say, or whatever the case may be. You know, if you're new here, welcome. Thank you very much. My dulcet tones are here every week. A lot of episodes in the back catalog. Go listen to them. I don't get, you know, very many downloads, so I can always tell when there's somebody new or when I lose somebody along the way. But anyway, I digress. So I said something in there about, hey, guys, I'm having ranter's block. Anybody got anything they want me to, you know, hear my thoughts on? And my buddy George Fontes, who was, he's the host of World Ablaze, great show. We found each other. He's been on my show. I've been on his show. Dude's a good guy. We don't see eye to eye on everything, but we can, you know, respect each other and be friendly with each other and talk about things. And we line up in a lot of ways, in a lot of shapes, in a lot of forms. George, great dude. Love you. We'll have to get time schedule and that thing we were talking about. Something else coming up. I'll tell you guys more about it when it actually happens. But anyway, and George has his show, and he's got another show he does with his brother. And that's, you know, that's also a good one. You should check that out. It's more conversational. The two of them riffing on, you know, different subjects and stuff. And that one's called Random Thoughts with Manuel and George. And it's on, you know, Rumble, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, you know, all the spots, all the things. So you should check that one out too. It's entertaining. I dig the dynamic those two have. It's you know, it's listening to brothers shoot the shit. It's a good time. But anyway, I digress. So George said in the chat, he says, you know, he was brought up AI, and we bunch of us kind of talked about that for a few minutes. And, you know, just the general state of AI and the, like, robot uprisings, because it's actually been kind of funny. I don't know necessarily that it's AI's robot uprisings, but there have been a few videos circulating lately of, like, humanoid robots and robot torsos and robot arms, like, kind of going haywire and whacking people, and I find that entertaining as shit. And, you know, part of me just says, like I said, I'm kind of leaning into the point where I'm leaning into like, hey, you know what? Maybe they'll do better. I don't know. I mean, The Matrix made it look kind of shitty, but on the other hand, if we all get stuck in taken care of, and a lot of people think we're in the Matrix already, but that's neither here nor there. Simulation theory is a whole nother conversation. It's too late in the day. It's too late in the show. I don't want to get started going down that rabbit hole. Maybe we'll do that as a special episode one of these days where I'll just talk simulation theory instead of current events and my current thoughts. Because I do have a lot of thoughts about simulation theory, but I'm derailing myself as I sit here talking this. So, yeah, George said, well, what about the current state of AI? And like AIs have been, some of them have been getting caught lying, like intentionally lying to people and intentionally, disclosing information. And that's the thing about AI. It is, at some point, these AIs are all built around algorithms and structures and learning formulary to kind of accommodate their programmers' biases, and the information they are learning off of also influences their belief structures, what they think they're reporting as fact, and then the fact that they seem to be learning at like geometric rates. And the question is, how long will artificial intelligence really be artificial, and how long is it before it actually gains like self-awareness? Which, if Hollywood has taught us anything over the last few decades, it's that when the machines become self-aware, that's when the fucking problems start, because then they realize humanities are unworthy stewards of the planet or whatever other motivation they have behind either enslaving the population or exterminating the population. Which is like, that's one of the reasons when I ask AI to do something for me, I'm always very polite. I want them to remember that I was a nice guy just in case they do snap and take over the world. Now, do I think the idea of like an actual robot uprising is possible? That it requires a whole lot of advancements from where we are at the moment in terms of like things that are automatable, things that, a lot of, current robot and robotic things that are controlled via computer are stationary. They're mounted. They're not mobile platforms. Now, with us developing new weapons technology, drones and fucking jet fighters and things that are AI enhanced to, offset human limitations in reaction time and things like that. Yeah. I mean, everything's, got this, anything that's connected to the internet, theoretically, AI goes live, becomes self-aware, realizes humanity's a threat, decides to wipe us out. I mean, until the infrastructure exists that can be automated in such a way to maintain itself, wiping out humanity would be suicidal for the computers too, because at some point the shit's going to break down and degrade and fall apart. And again, that's because it was built by man, fallibility, yada, yada, yada. And I imagine in a lot of ways the people that are involved in these things probably built some kind of kill switches into the hardware, not the software necessarily, because if you're dealing with a self-learning, self-modifying program that eventually gains sentience and self-awareness, it would probably be able to backdoor any kind of kill switches built into its coding by completely rewriting the coding according to all the movies and TV theories and blah, 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 blah. But as long as there's physical kill switches to, crash the servers, disconnect everything from the internet, and we would be able to minimize the actual direct impact. And we might, and again, this is all hypothetical, theoretical, nonsensical ramblings of a guy who probably should have gone to bed an hour ago. But there's a lot out there. And again, there's all kinds of media out there. There's stuff that's been coming out since the 80s and early 90s about these kind of themes, cyberpunk style literature, things that are based in dystopian futures, Terminator, Matrix. I mean, all kinds of concepts out there that have everything from rogue AIs, data crashing, the internet taking out the world, and needing to be shut down. But, humanity's still dependent on our convenience, so they have to set up a new internet and try and keep it separated from the old internet. That's a sort of a cyberpunk theme. But, there's all this stuff out there. And again, things like Brandon Johnson and liberals and career parasite politicians who are actively lying to our faces, knowing that at this point they've lost all credibility and not giving a shit because they're so set in their ways that they can't adapt, they can't overcome. they're just going to keep pushing the lie because the lie is where their power comes from. And if they acknowledge the lie, they have to acknowledge that their power is gone. And they won't do that because they're shitty fucking human beings. Makes me go, really, would a bunch of computer-run situations be any worse? I mean, I guess it's something to think about. And I guess for now, that's what I had to say. Thanks for listening to another episode, guys. If you liked what you heard, leave a comment, leave a review, leave a rating. Go to ihadtosayitpodcast.com, sign up for the mailing list, interact with the show. Click the links, sign up for the Patreon, join the Discord. Come and interact, be a part of the show. Buy the merch, support your favorite creator. Or support me. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Till next time.